Nationalisation. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Will it happen in South Africa? And if it does, how is it going to affect our economy? So this is what we're talking about today, and we are delving into that debate. Have questions about this? Issues that you want to raise? This is the episode for you. Welcome to Africa is Us. Remember to subscribe to this channel to receive your weekly emails with the link to the episode so you don't have to manually search for it or wonder when the next episode is out. Like, so I know that you like what I'm doing or don't like what I'm doing, if I should change things up or not. Share so we can grow the Africa is Us community. So today we're talking about nationalisation. First things first, what is it? What is nationalisation? Nationalisation is the transferring of private entities, sectors, like banking or private land into the hands of the state, who then controls all elements of this. Now, you will remember from previous videos in terms of land expropriation, we noted that the EFF is pushing for nationalisation, and one of the views that they take on this is that land should be licensed out by the state to individuals for periods of 25 years. Now, you may have seen that there is a lot of debate around nationalisation. I don't think it's something that we need to worry about in South Africa for the foreseeable future, because the ANC has been pretty clear that they are not for nationalisation. But it really has brought up a lot of questions around nationalisation and why people have such strong views on the yes, it's a good thing, no, it's a bad thing argument. So I've looked into it, and as you know, there are many countries in the world that have situations or political situations where land has been nationalized, banks have been nationalized, and we've seen the talks about the Reserve Bank and the comments that it should be nationalized, and then again that in terms of land expropriation, land should be nationalized. Now, what is the big scare factor about nationalisation? I think what I should explain first is there are many types of nationalisation. So I don't think it's something that we can just really explain in one term and generalize and say country nationalisation, because many different things can be nationalised. Private sectors can be nationalised, which can be different sectors like banking sectors, transport sectors, finance sectors, or land can be nationalized, which is again an entirely different sector. So it really has to focus, I think, on the land issue that we have in South Africa at the moment. So in terms of that, I only looked at countries where there is currently nationalization of banks and nationalization of land, which is, I think, the dialogue that we're having in South Africa at the moment, and the sectors that is kind of being pushed for towards nationalization. So looking at that, the examples that I could find are the following that you see on your screen. And this is not this is not the only countries. There are many. I just couldn't put them all on the screen for you, but some of them include Argentina, Chile, France, Greece, Iceland, India, Indonesia, and the list goes on. Now, the problem is, and Cuba, of course, is another big one. So the problem, of course, with nationalization is the fact that it seems to be really bad for the economy. I think the number one rule with nationalization, and if you were to ever consider it, or if a government was to ever consider it, especially in terms of something as important as nationalizing the finance sector like the banks and the land, is that you should be 100% sure that the governing party and all state entities, everybody in terms of government that is going to be working with these sectors that are then nationalized are absolutely on point. They know how to do their job, they are efficient, they are effective, and most importantly, there is no corruption. Yes, that's a difficult one, no corruption. Because ultimately, if there is corruption, this would lead to a very bad situation for us in terms of nationalization. And this is unfortunately what we have seen in many countries that employ this type of rhetoric. We've seen it in Argentina, we've seen it in Brazil, we've seen it to some extent in Venezuela. These countries are suffering. I mean, the living circumstances are just horrifying. Their currency has just slammed down, way down to the absolute dredges of what it could be. And this is because it's not being utilized in the right way. There is corruption, the state departments aren't working effectively, the system isn't working effectively. So to say that there should be nationalization of something as important as banks and land really puts a lot of pressure on those advocating for it to be sure that the right processes are in place at the time or right now that will ensure that it would be to the benefit of all South Africans and that would be to the benefit of our economy. Now, as you know, unfortunately, we are now in a technical recession. So our petrol prices are increasing and increasing and increasing. Obviously, many other things are going to become a lot more expensive because of the exchange rate and the rand falling. And this will have a severe impact, especially on the poorest of the poor, because all of us need to be able to drive to work. All of us need to be able to get to work somehow. All of us need basic foodstuffs. And all of these things are going to become much more expensive. So putting that into perspective and already seeing that we are in this really, really dire situation, is it really the best option to say that South Africa is ripe for and ready for nationalization? Because in my opinion, I don't think so. Just given the fact that there are so many excruciating examples of how this has been a total disaster in other countries, this is something that I think we should really not even consider. If you think that we should consider nationalization, do you obviously then disagree with me? And if you do, give me your comments and educate me as to why we should consider nationalization. If it's a no and you agree there should not be nationalization, also share with me your comments. Why? Why do you think it should be a no? But in terms of South Africa, where we are right now, the political climate in the country, the economic climate, unfortunately, I, in my opinion, don't think it would be a good idea. But again, just saying, I also don't think, in my opinion, this is something that we really are going to see happen anytime soon. So like, share, subscribe, and then I will see you next week when we talk about the fear of failure and how that translates to your career and business growth. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.